There we go. All right, guys. Well, I think we've got the internet problems figured out for now. So everything's been stable. I did a little private test for like 30 minutes and everything went good. So hopefully everything's good to go now. No, Derek, I'm not pulling a PR stunt. We are finally going to do the MIG aluminum that I've been promising for a while. I've already ran a couple test beads. I'm running the 253 DPI. It's the way I've got it set up. The machine is out in front of me, and I'm running my lead pretty straight back over here. So it's going to be pretty hard for me to show the machine and go over the settings. But just a real quick demo on. I'll run some basically horizontal fillets, and then I'll actually run a little bit of some vertical fillets. And then last week we had somebody, I can't remember who, but someone was asking about running like vertical outside corners with TIG on aluminum. So I've got a bunch of plates ready to go. I've got one already set up just to save some time, but we'll run some outside corner or some vertical outside corners here in just a minute too. So let's see what the art cam does on. I've got a bunch of notifications popping up on my laptop. Let's see what the art cam does on some single pulse aluminum MIG. Yeah, Derek, we're running single pulse on the 253 DPI. I'm running pure argon at 40 CFH. We're running 045 wire with a, what is it, like an 052 tip, which if you guys go back through on the Everlast channel, you'll see there's a video where I show how to do some like real simple tips to get like a standard MIG gun to work on aluminum MIG. So let's go ahead. We'll try this out real quick. We'll go art cam, and I adjusted this thing a little bit, so hopefully it's a little more in focus for you guys. So I'm going to start off. I don't know if you guys can see it on the camera. I'm going to run a little vertical fillet right here. Kind of weaving back and forth just a little bit. Had a little bit of a gap there. Let's come over to this other side real quick. See if I can sneak you guys in. Off screen to the left. Okay, this might be a little bit easier for me to get on camera from this side. Yeah, we're running 53, 56 wire. I haven't ran the art cam with the MIG gun yet, so it might take me a second to get the placement on screen figured out. All right, so I'll switch you guys over to the up close cam. Now, obviously, this is not going to be as pretty as we're used to. I'm actually still pretty new to running aluminum MIG, but for a real quick setup, I mean, she doesn't look too bad. I haven't ran fillets on this this setup before tonight, so even for me, this is still this is still pretty new. Trying to get the machine set up. On this corner over here, I had a little bit of a gap where the tank had kind of bowed out, so I might actually try to get a clamp on that and clamp it, and then to run that one. Let me see if I can lay this tank down, and we'll, instead of running these fillets flat, we'll run them vertical, just because it's going to be a little bit easier to get the camera on it. So let me sit down. I'll get arc shot cam and get you guys a wide view. See if we can get another one of these pretty good. Derek, this is 0.9, or this is 1/8" material. 1/8", sorry. I was working with some 0.90 earlier. Let's go ahead. Oh. See if I can flip this around. Maybe get a better shot. It's kind of hard to get my camera in there and get you guys in there. So Nick, I'll do short on these baffles. I'm going to fully weld the bottom, and then I've got it bent like a, here you go. I've got them bent with a lip. So I'll weld the bottom complete, and then I'll stitch it up the side. I mean, and I've actually got the center one where I'm going to locate a couple holes and probably run me a little stitch weld across the top just to make sure that we're keeping that top nice and sturdy. Just because the way I had to bend this tank up because it was so big, normally I like to build them up in like a clamshell. So I only have like 2 pieces that are fitting together, but with this one being so big, it won't fit in my 40-inch brake. So I basically had to bend 2 L shapes and then cap the bottom and then cap the top. So if I would have had a little bit bigger brake, I would have done it as basically 2 pieces that, you know, interlock together. Oh man, it is. The only thing with running this MIG aluminum, like I'm in a real closed off shop. I've got my vent fan on, but it's still, you can't really see it on camera, but it's super smoky. And this fuel cell is going to go into like an old bread truck, like a 1960s or 70s bread truck. It's a local shop here in Kansas City or in Smithville. It's a KC Tent Works. He's turning it into like a mobile tent truck. So we can go to like car shows and tent, or go down to like Lake of the Ozarks and tent people's trucks, or, you know, throw tent on their boat, stuff like that. So it's going to be a mobile tent setup for a local customer here in town. All right, let me, right now I'm set up on single pulse. I'm going to switch the machine over to just straight MIG, and we'll show you some of the differences on why like the single pulse runs a little bit better. So let me switch that over real quick. So I can run a little bit lower amperage. Running the single, running 145 amps. Just regular MIG, I'm running 120 amps. And that's 18.5 volts on my wire speed. So let me do a little test run here real quick. And again, this is going from, we were doing those first runs at single pulse. We're just going to straight MIG now. So no pulse. Trying to get in here so I can get a good grip on the MIG gun and keep my hand out of the way. I don't think that's going to be. So see, it's quite a bit dirtier when we're running the straight MIG. I'll see if I can get a little bit better shot, maybe running some vertical. Vertical seems to be the easiest to get video of. Flip this thing around. Just as I can get inside this tank a little bit better. Now, because this tank is for a buddy, this guy that owns KC Tent Works, a real good buddy of mine. That's why I'm playing around in the tank. Normally, if this was an average, like off the street customer, I wouldn't be playing around with this tank like this. So being for who it's for, and I know him really well, I know he's not going to care if I kind of play around with this thing a little bit. You know, if I'm worried about the baffles after I get done playing with the MIG, then I'll TIG up the spots, you know, in between the MIG welds. So not a huge deal. Now this is we went back to straight MIG. So I'll run a straight MIG vertical. I'll go back out, change the machine back to single pulse. You guys will be able to see the difference pretty clearly. Dennis, you know, I have not had enough time with this machine. I think you were just commenting on the Everlast Facebook page about the aluminum MIG machines. I haven't had enough time to play with this machine on dual pulse to get it really dialed in on dual pulse. So I am not going to run dual pulse tonight just because I'm not going to do it justice, to be completely honest with you. That is one thing I'm working on getting dialed in, is the dual pulse on this machine. Like I said, I just haven't had enough time to really play with it to do it justice. So I'm not even gonna show you guys dual pulse tonight. But here in another week or so, I'm going to be playing with this thing quite a bit. I've got some other aluminum projects coming in. One of them might be on the show. There's a good buddy of mine that's got an aluminum flatbed on like a 96 Chevy Silverado. I'm going to have him back it into the shop. I've got some repairs to make on that. So in prep for doing that truck, I am going to play around and get my my dual pulse figured out a little bit better. So let's see if we can get this single pulse aluminum MIG, get a little shot of this, show you guys why the single pulse runs a little bit better. All right, so now I'll switch it back. Oh, I didn't show you guys the arc shot. My bad. Let's try that again. I'll run a little bit more of this, and then we'll switch back to the single pulse and run a pretty good long run. I'm just working the puddle around a little bit more than what I was with the single pulse. So yeah, Nick, you can hear a big difference in how they run. So let me jump back out there, switch it back to single pulse. And I've got this pre-programmed in, so it makes it really easy for me to jump back and forth. So same joint, going from single pulse back, or going from straight MIG back to single pulse. A couple little boogers to clean up real quick. All right, so let me try to shove my head in here. Let's go back single pulse. This is running like a vertical fillet. You can see it's a lot more stable. I'm going to jump up here. We're getting pretty hot in that spot. Here we can jump right here and run a nice long vertical pass. Whew. God dang it, I still didn't go to the arc. Sorry, guys. I'm getting ahead of myself running this. It's kind of fun. I'm not used to running MIG aluminum, so it's pretty fun. Sorry. our last run. So I'm going to step up here just a little bit. So there we go. Let me grab the little up close cam. So you can see there's our vertical run we just did. What was that? On all of like 35 seconds or so. We just ran 16 inches. This was our straight MIG, no pulse. So still not too bad. You know, if you were in a bind and you just have a little MIG machine, you know, throwing in a Teflon liner, you know, will definitely get you by. And that's just what I'm running here is a Teflon liner in my standard MIG whip. Just running the Teflon liner in my standard MIG whip and an oversized contact tip. So I'm running 045 wire with a 052 tip. And what that is, that's you run an oversized tip just because if you're running, you know, a standard MIG whip, that wire has a tendency to ovalize when it's going through the rollers. So if you have 045 wire and an 045 tip, obviously if it's too wide coming to the tip, you're going to have some issues. So you run an oversized tip with a Teflon liner, and generally speaking, your standard MIG whip, it's not the prime setup. It's definitely not the preferred setup, but obviously it'll get you by if you need to. Oh. Scoot this thing out of the way. Let me run around real quick. Oh. Let me shut off this 253. We'll switch over to my 325 EXT. I'll get back to what I'm good at. That tank was built out of 1/8 inch 50-52. That was that tank was basically a full sheet. Drop this over the side. Let me wipe my table off real quick. And I can't remember if they're in here, who was asking me about doing the vertical outside corners. I can't remember who it was last week that asked about doing like aluminum outside corners. Get all those little BBs off. The nice thing about the aluminum MIG is that the little BBs don't stick to the table at all. They just wipe right off. All right, so back to something I'm actually pretty good at, which I don't know. I think that's why most of you are here. So like I said, last week we had someone asking me about, excuse me, outside corner aluminum vertical. There we go. Oh dear. Oh, hit the wrong button as I was jumping over. All righty. Let's turn this machine up just a little bit. And of course, if you guys have any questions about anything, hit me up in the comments. I've got quite a few plates cut here, so we can go through a few demos. So last week, like I said, someone was asking about running vertical outside corners on aluminum. So I'm set up on my 325. I've got it set to 141 amps, 121 hertz, 35% balance. If you guys have been watching, that's kind of my standard setup for aluminum. So let's see if we can get a decent arc shot. All right, camera's on. We'll go picture in picture. So you can guys kind of see my hand position. I'm going to start a little higher on the plate. I forgot to swap my ground over, of course. China's not paying me anything, Paul. I literally am not getting paid for this. I'm doing it because I enjoy it. And I think I've got some decent stuff to show. So, thank you for joining, Paul. All right, arc shot cam. Vertical outside corner. I'm really trying to keep my hand out of the way. Oh. Yeah, Richard, welding without a ground doesn't work out too well, as we just saw. My 253 is right here next to my 325, so I just swapped the grounds because I got the ground kind of rigged up to the table. James, are you talking about the TIG machine now, or the MIG aluminum we were doing a minute ago? So let's get back to arc shot cam, see if we can get another good shot running this vertical outside corner. So James, I'm running a 325 EXT, Everlast 325 EXT. You can get the up close cam. There we go. Vertical outside corner. We'll run a couple more and see if I can get a little bit better angle on the camera. Of course, we ran that about halfway up and then switched halfway up. And actually, James, if you're looking at the camera, so I've got a MTS 225 right there. The next machine, that's a 210 EXT, and then right there I've got a 325 EXT. So the picture of my belly. The 325 EXT, I've had that one. Gosh, I've been running production on that thing for about 3 years now. I keep it in the shop. And then my 210, because it's dual voltage, is the one I take when I go to like someone's house. That way I can run, 120 or 240 on it. So let's tack up another plate, see if we can get some more shots. I'll let that other plate cool off, and it'll actually make a pretty good demo for doing like a vertical fillet as well. So that first run was 1/8 inch 60/61. This is 090 50/52. So let me get set up. Oh, son of a gun. A nice freeze frame. All right. Run another one of these. Like I said, I'm trying to keep my hand out of the way, so if I'm in the way, let me know and I can reset and try to show you guys another run. I still got my tinfoil hat on. I think I just tried to get really close when I was doing that tack. But yeah, I am running 3/32. So this is 090. I'm running 3/32 filler. I'm running the 55/54, which is pretty much, if you guys follow along, is pretty much what I've switched to. So if you're just joining, yeah, I am running. I kind of assume that, yeah, the people that are here have been here for a while. So this is 3/32 55/54 aluminum filler. A good buddy of mine, Mark Winchester, actually turned me onto this stuff. Oh, I don't know. It's been a year or so ago, or about a year ago, and it's a really good rod. It's a good combination of 53/56 and 40/43. Doesn't have any of the disadvantages of either one. So very nice running rod. So I'm going to set up the up close camera and see if we can get a decent shot. Show you guys kind of the torch position I'm running. You get that camera set up. Let's see how that looks. So I'm running this. My torch angle is about like this. So you pretty much, if you're running flat, your torch angle will be about like here. So trying to maintain my same torch angle, and I'm feeding the filler rod in from the top. So here we go. We'll make a run and leave it on the up close cam here and see if you guys can see how I'm running this. I know it's probably blinding you. There you go. Not too bad. Let's tack up another one real quick. See if we can get a couple more shots on how to position your torch and your filler. Paul, I've got a long history with trolls, so it doesn't even faze me, man. I actually invite it because I get a chuckle out of it. So yeah, it doesn't even faze me. It just makes me laugh. Let me get a little booger off the camera there. Okay. Trying to see what would look best. Maybe we scoot you guys back just a little bit. You can see that beautiful Missouri sunset in the background. So here we go. I'm going to run a little short run so you guys can try to catch that torch angle again, and then I'll go back to the arc shot cam. Ooh, nice little run there. Let's flip her over. It's actually not a backer. So if you look, it's a open V block. What I'm doing is I'm just preventing when I'm dipping filler, keeping this material from pushing back. So it's literally just a stabilizer. I've got it set up like that. So yeah, not using it as a chill block. I do have a chill block up in the up on my shelf up above me, but yeah, I'm just using that to keep the material from pushing away from me when I'm adding filler rod to it. So I'll go ahead and flip that over real quick. We'll run another inch or two. Try to get a good arc shot of it. So there we go. So I don't know who was asking about running the verticals. I'll get you back up on the. So there you go. Nice penetration there. Ooh. Derek, any tips on tube, pipe, on plate? You know what? Guys, bear with me 1 second. I think I've got some aluminum tube back here. And I think I've got enough aluminum sheet. I can put a piece of tube on there, kind of show you some of my tricks for rolling over the top. So bear with me 1 second. I'm going to run and get some tube and some aluminum plate. Give me 1 second. This is part of why I really like doing this, is being able to show you guys some different stuff. Heck yeah. Oh, there's my plate. See, it's going to get noisy for a second. If you've got headphones on or your speakers turned way up, you might want to hit mute for a second. All right, almost back, guys. I'm just trying to find a decent little scrap piece. This will be good enough. Back. All right, let me wipe this down real quick. Now, obviously, like when I was doing, if you guys don't know, I used to build a whole crap ton of intercoolers. So one of the things we had to get really good at was like, here's an example right here. This was actually a scrap plenum. So this used to be an intercooler plenum. Obviously, I've chopped it down, capped that, made myself a nice little like tungsten holder. But one of the things we had to get really good at was running around these inlet rings. So I've actually got some pretty good little tips for running those inlet rings. As far as lint from blue rags, yeah, a little bit. You know, if I'm doing like my aerospace stuff, I'm not using these. Because yeah, they do leave some lint. Generally, if it's got sharp edges on it, like this tube was pretty rough cut. Here, we'll zoom in real quick. So you can see, yeah, it's got some lint on it. It drives me nuts too, but it comes off easy enough. Usually just hit it with some Scotch-Brite around that edge. It'll take it off pretty quick. Yeah, Dennis, before I go, I will do that for you, bud. I will do that. That's a nice, that should be easy little rig there. All right, so let me get this tacked up and I'll show you guys kind of how I roll the torch around when I was doing these inlet rings. Because this tube to, tube to plate, or, if you're building like I said, like an intercooler or something, and you've got a ring you're trying to weld around, getting that to look really good can be a struggle. That was one of my biggest struggles when I was building intercoolers when I first started off. Bob, you need to come up and join me, buddy. God, that'd be so much fun. And I would love to have you up here, Bob. We need to work that out one day, dude. Where do you like to get your consumables? So, James, right now I get all my stuff from AWG. They're not going to be as prevalent as like your Air Gas or your Prax or your Matheson, your Linwelds. They're a little bit smaller company, but AWG is who I use locally here in Kansas City. So let me get this tacked up real quick, and we'll get on the arc shot cam and show you guys a couple little tricks to running this junk. Bob, what is that? What flavor is that? If you guys don't know, that was a little joke that Bob used to do on some videos. You're going to make me nervous now, Moffett. If you guys don't know, Bob and I we go back about 2 or 3 years now, Bob. Bob and I are pretty good buddies. Bob, that's that 55-54. We tricked you. It kind of has the same scent though, so I don't blame you. Such an honor to have Bob Moffett with me. That's awesome. All right, arc shot cam. Well, let me go back. We'll get this up close camera real fast. So obviously this is a scrap piece of tube. So what I'm going to show you guys is how I kind of roll my torch around this joint. I always try to do about 1/4 to 1/2 of like a tube joint like this at a time. So we'll switch back out. I haven't done one of these for a minute, so we'll see how this goes. Oh, wrong camera. There we go. As soon as I start to roll over here, I'm hoping you guys can catch this. Oh, my lead got caught up on the edge of the table there. Made me slip up. Sometimes it's not about being good. It's about how good of an excuse you can have when you mess up. So yeah, let me get the up close camera. We'll show you how because I do hold my torch a little bit differently. So when I'm doing these, this is how I'm holding my torch. So right between my index and middle finger, and I'm using my thumb to help me roll that over. So I'm going to come in here like this, and I'll kind of move my elbow out, which will cause my wrist to roll. So I'm not actually trying to roll my wrist. I'm keeping my wrist locked, and I'm moving my elbow to get that. James, if you're ordering consumables online, ArcZone is a very good place to go. I've always had really good luck with ArcZone stuff. All right. Let's go back to the arc shot. Let's see if we can get another good shot of this without me catching my arm on something. So let the puddle establish. Here we go. I'm starting to lose my torch angle. So we wrap it up. Let's see. Now this wasn't quite wide enough. This little piece I had that was bent up wasn't quite wide enough for the tube. So we'll run it. We'll see if we can run this gap. It's got a pretty good gap on this side where the tube overhangs my bend, which we had on a couple of the intercoolers we used to build. But let's go to the arc shot cam and see if I can get this gap to fill. So really backing down my amperage. This is a little bit too big. I mean, we're going to fill it, but it's going to be ugly. We are also trying to fill a 1/4 inch gap with 065 tube. Derek, if you want some lessons, man, just hit me up. I don't know, I've said it before, but that's one of the reasons why I have this whole live stream set up. So instead of doing like a public live stream like this, I can actually do a live stream and then make it private and then invite, one person, 2 people, a group, whatever, to that live stream. So that's part of the reason I'm doing this, is just so I could offer a little bit more one-on-one help, or, really specific instruction on certain things. So if you guys are interested in something like that, I'm not going to charge you, $100 an hour or something ridiculous. Like, generally I'll just be out here in the shop anyway. So just hit me up. If that's something you're interested in, I can definitely help you out. Yeah, Derek, we can definitely run through the like the MTS menus. They are a little bit confusing. Once you run through them 3 or 4 times, they're not too bad. But when you're first starting out, you don't know where everything is. It can be a little confusing. But yeah, that's something I could do a real quick private live stream and invite you to it. We could run through that 10 minutes, man. It wouldn't take anything. And you can still comment on there, so it makes it nice and easy. Well, Bob, you're getting ready to retire here pretty soon, so you're going to have a lot of extra time to kill. So maybe you should make some house calls. Oh, man. Let me see. Who do we have? Derek, was that you that was asking about that? Does that kind of explain it, Derek, on how, I kind of, like I was kind of saying, like kind of push my elbow out, like kind of wing my elbow to get that rotation. So you're still kind of moving, still kind of moving forward. But as you move, you kind of wing that elbow, kind of chicken wing it, and it'll get your wrist to kind of naturally roll over when you're doing tube welds. Oh, man, what else? What can we do real quick? Yeah, and Derek, one thing too to consider, I see a lot of people, so like let's say we had, we had an 18-inch run we're going to do. I see a lot of people start here, and then they'll end up getting kind of hung up and jammed up, and they can't go. So they're starting comfortable, and they're trying to work towards being uncomfortable or stay comfortable the whole time, which, I mean, obviously that's ideal, but the best way to do it, like if I had a long run on the intercooler, I would start over here like this, start uncomfortable and work towards being comfortable. So I would start down here, and then I didn't have to move my body with the weld. I could start pretty much full length out, and then I'd stop here, because you start going across this way, number one, you're blocking your field of sight with your hand, or you're going to have to really crank your neck around and move your body, which is generally going to cause you to move the torch. So if you start kind of off to your, whatever hand you're welding with, you start off to that side a little bit further and kind of weld towards yourself. When you get about here, that's usually a pretty decent run. For me, that I could make an 18-inch run like that. But then you get past kind of this halfway point, and you're going to start blocking your field of view. You're going to start losing your torch angle. So just something to think about. Generally speaking, you want to start uncomfortable and work towards being comfortable. Unless it's something, super easy that you can kind of stay comfortable the whole time, obviously, then throw what I just said out the window. I mean, we can run some vertical fillets real quick. I think, Dennis, you wanted to see tacking up like an outside corner with the 253. I haven't ran an outside corner with the 253, so you can learn with me. Let's do that real quick. Give me a second, guys. I'll switch the 253 DPI back on, and let's run my first outside corner with it. I've just been practicing kind of butt welds and fillet welds with it, so I haven't ran an outside corner yet. So let's give that a shot. I'm probably not going to do that any justice, because this will be my first outside corner run, but hey, we'll give it a shot. I've already got kind of the scrap piece tacked up. This is 090, so let's go ahead and use this. That way, we're coming up on our hour already. Jesus Christ! All right, I already swapped the ground. Thank you, Richard. Let me wipe this down. All right, Dennis, are you still with us, buddy? Derek, I actually was talking to another viewer today about finding some aluminum bronze. My distributor has it. It's a little pricey. It's a little more pricey than what I want to pay for 10 pounds for something that I'm going to use, maybe once every 3 or 5 years. I really like that tactic that I was running the other week. So if I've got to run cast iron, I'm going to run that TIG Technic 224. But I'm going to check. I've got another little mom and pop shop that they'll sell me like a pound of stuff. I'm going to drop by there probably tomorrow or Wednesday and see if they have some. But it was a little too expensive for me to buy 10 pounds of it to have sitting around. All right, Dennis, 253 DPI. We are set up for single pulse. Again, Dennis, I have not ran an outside corner on this yet. I've been mainly running fillets for the stuff I've been working on and some butt welds here and there. So we'll try this out real quick. I might have to fine tune it just a little bit, but let's see how this runs. Let me tack this. I got a little split down here. You guys didn't see that, did you? I need to adjust my gas flow real quick. I bumped it. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, there we go. I bumped my regulator as I was moving stuff around a second ago. All right. Here we go, outside corner. We'll let you guys get a first-hand view of me checking out how this runs. So this is my first time running an outside corner on the single pulse MIG. So you're learning with me. Ooh, I gotta run faster. All right, I gotta get in a better position to run faster. Whew, there we go. Let's so I was obviously pretty hot. So we were super hot there. I was trying to catch up to it. There we go. If I was going to run any more of that, like on a part, I would definitely go down. Let me adjust that down like 5 amps and see how that does. So that's a little hot. I'm actually going to go down 10 amps. I'll go to 100 and... to 130 actually. We're at 145 amps. So we're going to go down to 130 amps and see how that runs. Because I was basically having to sprint to keep up with that thing. That was running super hot. All right, here we go. Whew. Still running pretty hot. I'm going to switch hands though. I'm not used to having to move that fast. Let's see. So let's see if we can get you some light in there. So you can see we were obviously getting good penetration. We would also have to run it Mach 10. So that was my first outside corner running this aluminum MIG. Not the prettiest thing. I would definitely need to play with that. We're a little bit hot. But Dennis, actually, running the 253 is something I really want to start focusing on here pretty soon. I've got some larger projects, aluminum projects. I want to do an aluminum jet boat here probably into the year, early next year. So I need to get this thing dialed in. And that was one of the reasons I have it, is to show you guys how to use it. So I probably should learn how to use it. But yeah, outside corner, that was pretty hot. I probably need to step down another 20 amps or maybe 15 amps. But Dennis, I'll tell you what, buddy, I'm going to make you a promise that I'm going to play with this thing some more. And then here in another, let's say like 2 weeks, we'll come back and really dive deep into this thing. That might be the kick in the ass I need to go ahead and learn how to run this thing properly. Maybe we could even at some point weld up pop cans. So if you guys don't have any other questions, really, we're coming up on the hour mark. So I could go brush my teeth and go to bed here pretty soon. We could, I've got the pieces set up. We could run some vertical fillets real quick. You still think of making some of those aluminum boxes? Yes, Derek, I am going to make a bunch of those. I'm looking for inlet rings. I can't seem to find these little billet inlet rings. So if any of you guys happen to know where I can find some, I've looked all over the internet for some billet inlet rings. I'll need 3-inch rings. But if you guys have a hookup on them, send me an email so I can find some, or else I'm going to have some made. But other than that, yeah, I am going to make some of those little tungsten pin holders, ashtrays, whatever you want to call them. And I'll offer them up for you guys. I'll let you know as soon as I start building them. I'll probably show you guys building a couple of them. They're similar to the, kind of a similar build of little card holder things we built, 2 weeks ago. Obviously with the inlet ring though, running it around, showing, how I fit it up in the block. It really has a lot of translation over to building intercoolers and welding up the plenums and stuff like that. So yeah, those will be really fun. We can run a couple of those, and then, is it Paul? Paul, that's how I'll get paid, not from China. I'll get paid from selling you guys a couple of those and hawking some of my scrub work. Dennis, if you are really looking at the 253 DPI, there's one of the Everlast ambassadors on the Facebook page named James Flatman. He also has a 253 DPI, and he's got the Parker push-pull gun. I can, tell you what, I will send you a link to his profile, and I'll give him a heads up that you might want to holler at him. But actually, James Flatman has a lot more experience on the 253 right now than I do. And he's actually using it to build a boat, an aluminum jet boat. So he would really be the guy to talk to, short term, long term. Like I said, I'm going to put some hours in on this thing. I promise you that. But James Flatman, Dennis, I will send you a message here in 5 minutes with his contact info. And he's got a bunch of videos he posted with that thing running it. So yeah, you can you'll get a little bit better demonstration of how it runs. So if that's it for tonight, guys, then again, wow, we had a lot of people here. I'm really surprised. That was awesome. Sorry about last week. I don't know what the hell was up with the internet. We were having all sorts of connection problems. Haven't had a single issue tonight, so maybe I just pissed off the internet company. I don't know. Anyway, guys, I appreciate it. I still cannot believe we have this many people per week watching me fumble my way through this for an hour. I know a lot of times, sometimes we're short on content for the how long the show is. It amazes me how quickly the time passes, but I can't tell you guys how much I appreciate you coming and hanging out with me every week. It's a real honor. And we had Bob Moffett, so we're moving up in the world. But again, guys, I appreciate it. We'll see you next Monday, 7 p.m. Central Time, right here. Have a good one, guys. Best of luck.